Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Nina. How are you this morning? And what you ladies up to? What's everybody up to, ladies? Ladies, where'd y'all go? I lost one of you. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm already live. Give me just a minute, ladies. I'm trying to get my link put up there. Yeah. I scooped by there and was looking at them a little bit this morning. They've got they got their hands full. They really do. I'm gonna slip in to put my link up just a second, so you'll see me in there twice. Somebody wants to come in. Hold on. Let's see who it is. Oh, it's me. I want to get. All right. Kathy says I was watching David. David who? Okay. Are you kidding me? That's who I thought you were talking about, but I just wanted to verify. Lord, the big mouth black lady. Or troublemaker or whatever you want to call her. All right, now I got it pinned. So I'm literally fresh out of the bed, which is why y'all looking at uh the outside and not the in, or looking at me because my hair's probably sticking up. Good morning, everybody, whoever's just joining in. Say hello so I know you're here. This is an impromptu live. I just wanted to come and spend some time with y'all in the morning because I believe it was Kathy that said Kathy or Nina one was talking about they missed the morning live. So I wanted to try to get on here a little earlier this morning. I'll turn y'all around a little bit so y'all can see my flag. There we go. All right, it was Nina who said that she missed the morning lives. Okay, we were just talking about you this morning. We were talking about Kathy too. And I was picking on Uncle Deuce. I said, all she does is pop in talking about Kathy. She pops in and she goes, Uncle did it. And she's silent the rest of the time. She comes in to blame Uncle, and that's it. I knew it was one of y'all who had said something about the morning lives. And we do. I try to I try to please you guys. Y'all are my chat. Um, we know each other from other circles, so when you guys are in my chat, I try very hard to let you guys know that we do think about you. He's my buddy. I know he's your buddy. I know. He's good people too. One thing is for sure, between me and my neighbor, you're not going to see an absence of flags. We've got some flags now. Of course, you and Uncle Deuce are so down to earth, my kind of people. Well, what could you expect from two people that came out of the freedom movement and met and made a life together solely because of what they believed in, you know? And I think that's where me and Uncle Deuce have a lot in common, because if it wouldn't have been for Convoy Santa, we'd have never met. And then we started like seeing each other in other chats. And then I picked on him terribly bad. It was my job to pick on him. I know it. He always does it. Kathy, he always does it. I guess what's pretty cool is that Kathy and Nina both left other chats to come and chat with me, which I think is cool. Nothing ever happens in my chat. We just sit and talk. But hey, it's so good to know that y'all will come to my chat. That's cool. That's really neat. Yep. 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 Well, at the time that I was doing it, it wasn't really flirting. I had never seen Uncle Deuce. Um, I just knew that he was like the highlight of every chat that he was in. He made everybody laugh. We were always like stirring up trouble in Santa's chat together. Um, we kind of fed off of each other even before we met. We fed off of each other to keep the chat flowing. And, you know, the day I popped in on Frankie Bobby's chat when I was actually at Bunker Hill and finally met Frankie and everybody up there, I was able to steal his life for a little while, and I was able to talk to the chat, and I got to talk to Uncle Deuce, and it was pretty cool. By that time, we were already talking on the phone and stuff, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Um, but yeah, I guess you call it flirting, but it wasn't my intention for it to do anything but us just be chat buddies. But God had other plans for sure. Now he's both a pain in my butt and the highlight of my life, if that's possible. And I'll take the flirting. It's okay. You can accuse me of flirting. I don't mind. And hell, that's been almost a year ago. We coming up on our anniversary. That's crazy. I can't believe it's been a year almost since we moved into this house. That's just unreal to me that it's been almost a year. Time has really flown by. And like when we went to Taylor's graduation, which is our 18-year-old, he's had a birthday since graduation. But when we went to Taylor's graduation, I've said it before, but Chris and Aiden were both there with us. And they could never see the light at the end of the tunnel when it came to school. And they were really questioning, why do we have to do this crap? What's the point in it? It's just a bunch of crap. But then when they saw Taylor, nope, I can't get enough people in there I can't get enough people in my chat to really talk about it. I want ideas. I did like Aruba's idea, but I just kind of want to see what you guys think. But no, we haven't made no decisions on the anniversary. But it really made an impression on Christopher, because he's going to be the next one to graduate. So He's going to be 2000, the class of 2028. And him watching that graduation ceremony with Taylor really impacted him. It changed his perspective. And I told him, I said, you give yourself a couple years. It won't be long before you're able to, before you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be having your ceremony. And time flies just that quick. I mean, you got to think, it don't feel like it's been a year since I've been with Deuce, but, and I mean, officially, me and Deuce were together months before that, but I'm talking about officially. That's an idea, Nina. You got a place for us to sleep if we come down there? Or do we have to stay in a motel? That would be cool because that means we could actually go to the vigil. We could probably meet with Glory B. There'd be a lot of things we could do too while we were there, because I know she's close by, and having dinner or lunch with her or a barbecue or something would be awesome. Most definitely, because Deuce has never met Glory B face to face. I have, but he has not. And Nina says, yes, you can stay with me. Getting the tickets and stuff like that's reasonable. It's all the damn extra motel rooms and all of that. And then up there in that area, things are more expensive there than anywhere. I mean, it's like, I could not believe it. I run out of cigarettes in downtown DC. And I looked at some of the guys and I didn't even think about the fact that I was in the middle of DC. I mean, I did, but I didn't. But I told the guy, I said, look, I've got to find somewhere that I can go and walk within walking distance. Yeah, well, actually, I'm leaning him towards tech school, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But when I was in downtown DC, I had to have a pack of squares, right? And I told Deuce, I said, I got to find a store somewhere that has cigarettes. Well, I want to say maybe me and Third were out when she got my shoes, and she stopped somewhere and let me pick up a pack. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the brand that me and Deuce smoke, which is the cheapest brand on the market for non-menthol cigarettes, really, to me, which are Pall Malls, they wanted $17 a pack in DC for cigarettes. I was like, y'all lost your mind. $17. Now, as far as college, I really believe. Hold on, y'all. Um, when when Chris graduates from school, I'm going to encourage him to go to tech school. And because he's more into the computers and the gaming and programming, and one day he wants to make his own videos and make his own games. And I think tech school would be more profitable for him than going to a 4-year college, putting himself in debt. And you guys have got to think about it this way. A college education should not cause you to be in debt for the rest of your life. It should be a way to grow. It should be a way to learn, but it should not set you as being in debt as soon as you are old enough to come out of school and you decide to go to college, unless you got a scholarship. Dakota, good morning. And so are you pro him getting locked up? Or what's going on that you're pointing out? Because you're not going to get nobody to say anything about you saying President Trump in here. So I'm just asking you what your point is exactly, because you can get me a strike really quick and I'm not going to deal with that. So good morning, Dakota, and what brings you to the chat? So we're going to look at, I think tech school would be better for my kids. I don't want them to be so far in debt. And it's like Uncle Deuce and some of his people made a very valid point. Why would you put your children in college and pay $4,000 or $5,000 a semester for you to go and just completely indoctrinate your kids a little bit more? Yeah, well, my kids aren't quite like that. My kids, they won't have a 4.6 average. But I tell you what, community college will work for mine. They can get a skill, and they can, a large animal vet, that's got to be interesting. They can get a skill. They'll be skilled in that particular thing, and they don't have to take a bunch of damn classes that they don't need. Well, I think they both do. I honestly, Nina, I think the school system and the college, they're linked together. But one thing that you got to remember too is that the Masons are very key in what's going on right now, the Masonic lodges and 33-degree Masons and up. And when you got places like Yale and Harvard and a bunch of these high Ivy League schools, that's all you're getting out of there is like people just like them. I mean, there's secret societies in the schools too, in the colleges. And no, kids don't need to be around it. But the difference is us as parents, in my opinion, that's where we have to stand up and stand alone and say, okay, my kids are not going to be this way. My kids are not going to be brainwashed. I'm not going to put them in there. I mean, my kids are one of the few kids in Burleson that don't have cell phones. They don't have tablets. They don't have a game system. They don't have access to the internet. And we're doing this to protect them more so than to punish them. It's a protection thing. My children have no idea the predators that are out and about in our society. And all it takes is one of them to give too much information, and then our life becomes a hell. So, yeah, we're just not, and they're at the age too where they're prone to make bad mistakes. And I don't want to deal with it. You know, I want to protect my kids at all costs, and to them, it's punishment. To me, it's my way of being a stand-up mom, saying, "Hey, we're not going to do this." And my personal opinion is, I want to put my kids back on books, and I think that's the best way to go. Nina says, my last child graduated in 21. Thank God. Yeah, well, we've got a lot. We've got, nope. What do you need? We got 4 years to go for my oldest one after this school year starts. And we've got 5 years for my youngest one after the school year starts. So he's going to be 1 year behind his brother. One will be the class of 28. The other one will be the class of 29. And I'm just curious as to how much the world's going to change in that time. Because, yeah, when I went to college, and this was back in 96, when I went to college and started college, I was in a private school, and it cost me right at, I want to say that tuition, board, and everything was like $300,000 a year, or maybe it was $300,000 total. But you're still talking about an obscene amount of money that you're having to pay to go to college. And I graduated with a 4-year degree. So I can tell you that I started school in 96, graduated in 2000, and I'm still under student. Say good morning.
Morning.
Say good morning to Kathy and Nina, because they jumped in here really quick to say good morning.
Hi, Kathy and Nina. Kathy did it.
Oh, Kathy did it. Kathy, you hearing me is blaming you for everything. Yeah, I know. He's retarded. The average person can't afford an electric car, especially the ones that they've got out. It's just like somebody had pointed out, you've got a $150,000 $200,000 car, but the average citizen in the United States cannot afford that. Don't come out here again. Oh my God, my kids are driving me nuts this morning already. We're having a really big issue with the respect on the live because he was just out here 2 seconds ago. I told him when he walked out that I was live and not to bother me. So what does he do? He turned around and comes right back out here. And it would be different if what they needed was normal, everyday, important shit. But the crap that they come out here with to interrupt the live is not even important. It's stupid stuff that they want to ask just to interrupt what I'm doing. So my new theory is if you can't respect me when I'm live, I'm not going to respect you when you want to borrow my phone to call your friends. Kathy says, nope, Uncle did it. Uncle does a lot of things, but I don't think he does everything. We have had some funky weather here. Let me tell y'all, I would say within 30 minutes after I ended my live last night, me and Deuce were going to sit down. They get my attention 24/7. That's what most people don't realize. My kids, they are the type of kids that you literally cannot take your eyes off of them for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and they're into some stuff, or they're fighting, or whatever. Nope, they're too young to work yet. 13 and going on 14, they're too young to work still. And even if they did, they want to half-ass do it because that's how they half-ass clean the house. They need to learn what it's like to take pride in their work, but first they've got to understand that it's just that, it's work. It's not something you can go in and you can slop together or cut the grass and leave 5 lines in the middle of the grass that's long and walk out and just leave it like that. They are bored, I get it, but they're bored because they can't act like they're supposed to on an average day, so they've lost all their privileges. That is their fault, not mine, and it's their fault that they're bored, not mine. I can give them something to do, but they don't want me to do that because they'll be cleaning the walls with a toothbrush. No, I think, to be honest with you, that my opinion of this is that kids of today, and I don't know if it's school that's doing it, if it's the internet that's doing it, or if it's a combination of all of it together, but children in our generation are like, they are coming into this world feeling like they are entitled to something or everything, just like my sons don't realize how much mess they make in a house on the average day, but yet they want to turn around and look at me and go, it's your job to clean it, not mine. It's not my job to clean up after you when you're old enough to clean up after yourself. You've got me twisted. And this is the kind of thinking that our children now have. They feel like they can wreck a mother's house, walk around, and just because it's me that normally washes dishes, if you want to make that kind of mess, then you need to be responsible enough to clean up your own crap. I'm going to tell you what, this child, Nina, when he gets older and gets 18, I promise you, when that child turns 18 years old and he's ready to get out of my house, I'm going to throw the biggest block party there is. Just for the, I want, number one, I love my son. For the record, again, I love my kid. But it's time for him to learn what life is. And apparently it's something I can't teach him. Because I've been trying to teach him this for quite some time. I can't teach him anything. He's not receptive to it, nor does he understand it. There's going to come a day where he will, though. What's so funny, Nina? There was a day when parenting used to be fun, but now it's become more like a chore. If you decide to have kids in this generation, and me and Deuce was talking about this last night, if you have it to go back over, if you could back up with what you know. See, the important thing is, oh yeah, I'm going to throw a party for real. The real thing and the real celebration in the whole thing is that A, he's 18, B, all the stuff that he didn't have the knowledge of before, he's going to learn really quick. And, well, you know, with my oldest one, I did enjoy being a mom. But with these two right here, a lot of things come along with them. And no, I haven't enjoyed it. Not as much as I wanted to. And I'm so close to having them aged out. The last thing I want to do is mess up and have another kid, but me and Deuce can't have children. Deuce can have kids. I can't. And being a mom to the kids now is not easy because everything you're teaching them, the school is unteaching them. And every good thing that you're trying to plan in their head, they're undoing it. Their friends are undoing it. The places that they live undoes it. I mean, literally, you've got so much competition that when it's all said and done, my almost 14-year-old thinks I know nothing. I think he thinks I make stuff up. Like, what could happen to him if he breaks the law and goes to jail? And if he gets the right charges, how much it's going to change his life. And the fact that no, jail ain't no cakewalk. They don't let you in and out of there. You can't walk around freely. You're told when to piss, when to eat, when to sleep, when to get up, when to do chores, when you can be in your cell, when you can't. And this child literally thinks it's a game. Like, other people have told him the same thing. This is what your life's going to be like, including police officers. And for you to think that you know better than everybody else, including your parents and the cops, I have no idea. My son found a good woman and he's doing fine now, other than having cancer, but I know God is going to heal him. That the fact that he's battling cancer can probably teach him some of the best lessons there is. Do we wish it was different circumstances? Of course we do. Of course we do. We don't want our kids to be sick, but I'm a firm believer that if you want to take the gifts that God has given you in general, and this is a general statement, but whatever gift he gave you, if you want to take it for granted, then he'll take it away from you. If you don't appreciate it, he'll take it away from you. And that's the way it is. I feel like that if you don't embrace the gifts and use them for the right things, that you're not going to be able to do them anymore. And I keep telling my oldest son, I said, look, I said, when you turn 18, finding a woman that is going to put up with you is going to be a miracle. Because it's all I can do not to lose my cheese on an average day. The only reason I have not done it already is because of Deuce. There's been times when Deuce has literally had to go, take your break. I got it. Step away. Yada, yada. And he's good at doing that, because I'll get to that point where I'm really ready to pull his eyeballs out and tie him in a knot. You back up 30 years, and that's as far back as you really need to go. 30 years, maybe even 20. But you back up 20 or 30 years and you watch the difference in the way kids grew up then, and you watch them now. God has healed 5 of my family members since 1964, so I know God is going to heal him too. That's right. And that's a chance for God to show off that he is God. Sometimes you don't see his blessings as a blessing. Sometimes you think of it like, well, he didn't answer my prayers, he don't care. Just like Garth Brooks said way back when, sometimes the greatest gifts is the prayers he don't answer. Maybe because he's got something in store for you later down the line that's better for you than what you're trying to struggle to keep. But what it's all said and done is he can see things we can't. And I guarantee you, 2 years ago, if you had asked me if I'd be sitting where I'm at right now, doing what I'm doing right now, and being with who I'm with right now, I would have looked at you like you had lost your mind. Never saw Deuce in the picture a couple years ago. As much as I prayed for him. And I did. I used to pray every night, God, just bring somebody that understands what I'm dealing with, that can understand me. I feel you need to start when kids are little. They learn what they see. Yeah, but the thing is since they were tiny, as a single mom, I was overwhelmed because I had one child that was ADHD, one child that was ADD, and one of those 2 kids also bipolar. I was a single mom. I couldn't work. My son's illness was so chronic and bad that I just couldn't. He had separation anxiety, and Deuce will tell you, to this day, the same child will get all bent out of shape if I'm out of his sight for 5 minutes. That's just the way he is. And yeah, because he knows ahead of time that it's not good for you. And so I started at an early age when my kids, trying to direct them in the right way. Their disabilities had played a role in the impairment of being able to do that. Because one of the things that I hear myself say to them all the time now is, I've been trying to teach you this for 13 years. If it hasn't stuck now, I don't think it's ever going to stick. Because, when they're little, you are their everything and they think you know everything. When they become teens, you're a thorn in their side and they don't think you know nothing. And then when they become adults, still, up until the point where they have their own kids, they think they know everything and you're wrong about everything until they become a parent. So, yeah, it's a challenge. It was a challenge. It was very hard. I was misjudged a lot because you got kids with disabilities. Kids with disabilities don't fit in a neat little box. You can't compare them or act like they're like every other child. But instead of supporting the parent like they should have, they come after the parent, which is not right. And that's the way it is. And Nina, I can tell you from my experience to yours, you feel alone. You feel like nobody else is going through it. You feel like all people do is judge you and judge your child. And my boys will never understand the complexity of how more difficult my life was because of the decisions that they chose to make. So, I mean, your children can affect your whole household. Just like if you are emotionally going through shit, you can affect your whole household. But the decisions and the impairments and disabilities and all of this, when you have dealt with all that, plus a very blatant disability like bipolar, it is like living in hell on an average day. It is like being in a foreign country, you speak English and everybody else don't. because kids don't come with a rule book. The last time I checked, children don't come with a dictionary. They don't come with a table of contents. They don't come with no rule book. They don't come with nothing that tells you how to assemble their tail and make them work to be the best humans they can be. It don't work that way. And a lot of the traditional ways of discipline that most kids respond to, my oldest didn't. So it didn't matter really what you took from this kid. He just acted like it was nothing to him. And actually finding something that worked to get his attention was more tiring than dealing with him itself. And when I've got two of them that's like that don't like each other, that are like oil and vinegar, that do not get along, and they fight more than they get along, it's just like, there were days when I asked God, what did I do to deserve all this? Because the Bible says that you reap what you sow. What the hell have I done in my lifetime that is so bad that I'm dealing with this stuff now? Is the way I looked at it. And honestly, that's what the word says. I don't know how many women in our society now could have withstood what I have withstood in the last 14 years. I don't know a lot of mothers that could have done it and that would have stayed with it. It takes a very special person to go through the kind of stuff that these type of kids put you through. And then on the flip side of that, you spend a lot of your time being involved with CPS because people don't know, they don't see, they don't understand. They get involved in shit that they have no business being involved in. And so not only are you living a life where nobody appreciates a damn thing you do, but then you're being judged constantly for what you are trying to do. So either way you want to slice it, you're being judged by somebody, whether it's a school teacher, whether it's a partner, whether it's a best friend, whether it's the school system itself, whether it's CPS, whether it's your neighbor. It doesn't matter who it is, the judgments are there. And what people don't realize is just how much that can affect the parent, because it hurts when it's constantly being thrown in your face. They actually sent a CPS worker out to my house one time that her job was to be like they called a liaison. So she came here and she was like a bridge gapper between me and the actual worker, because me and her didn't really get along. So she came out to try to fill the void. And so she came out to my house and she was questioning me about my parenting style. And she was asking me a bunch of nosy questions. And finally I looked at her and I said, can I ask you something? And I said, can you answer it honestly? And she said, yeah, I'll answer it honestly. I looked at her and I said, do you have children? And she said, I do not have kids. I said, that's mighty funny that you're sitting here in my yard telling me how to raise mine then. Because if you don't have your own kids and you haven't been around either brothers and sisters or siblings with issues or whatever the case, I think you should have some kind of personal experience with troubled kids to be a CPS worker. And so with that being said, I promptly looked at her and I told her, I said, and you believe in your mind that you are qualified to tell me how to raise my child when you don't have a child, you've never been married, you don't have brothers and sisters, you have nothing to compare it to other than what a book taught you. A book cannot teach you how to take care of your kids. I don't give a damn how many books you read. It's not going to teach you how to take care of your kids, because every child is different. Every mother is different. Every circumstance is different. You cannot learn how to raise a kid from someone that's never raised children, or you are not going to be able to read and comprehend a book to teach you to be a better parent. Can you get ideas? Yes. But when you're dealing with the kind of stuff that I dealt with, there is days when you cannot stand the thought of getting up another day and doing what you do every day. And Nina says, I understand everyone in my small town hated my son, and that's so sad. It was easier for them to hate your son than for them to take the time and actually understand who and what he was. And I have spent 14 years defending my children. And I have spent 14 years defending myself. Because all it takes is one nosy ass neighbor who don't know what the hell they're seeing and looking at to pick up the phone and call CPS and ruin your damn life. And it's just that simple. Don't come out here. I said no. Because there's the attitude right there. Jealous of Deuce and the fact that Deuce is a grown-ass man, and if he wants to walk out here and get a cigarette out of our pack, but Deuce knows I'm live because he spoke to y'all, and when he comes out here, he's going to understand and have the appropriate behavior that I'm live, and he's not going to cause no issues. My son wants to come out here to turn the whole live upside down. That's the whole reason this is the third time he stepped out that door in 40 minutes. No, don't open that door again. If you got a question, go ask Deuce. No, you can go ask Deuce. They don't want to ask Deuce because they know Deuce is going to probably say no. So we have 30 minutes after I ended the live last night, I noticed that the weather was getting kind of rough and that we were having lightning and stuff in the distance. And I thought maybe it was a storm that had just left us. And I sat there and watched as the live progressed, and I noticed it was getting closer and closer and closer. And so I wanted to go ahead and end the live. And then all of a sudden, about the time that I got in the backyard good and got back there with Deuce, I promise you the tornado warning whistle went off. And I'm sitting out there with him smoking a cigarette after the live. And all of a sudden we keep hearing these really loud noises. And I kept looking at Deuce going, what in the hell is that noise? Well, it didn't take us long to realize because a golf ball piece of hell fell right beside the chair that I was sitting in. And Deuce said, okay, this is not little hell. This is big hell, and you need to get inside the house. And I'm talking about, it was golf ball size hell. It was crazy. Out of nowhere it came, and out of nowhere it left. Nina, you're probably the closest person that I know of that has been through what I've been through. So I completely sympathize and understand. And then when you get them to 18, you're just like, okay, now you're 18 years old. You go out and do it on your own. You go out and make your own life because guess what? This ain't working for me. And being a parent of two special needs children that automatically clash is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's like playing tag and tug of war your entire life. And then when you make a decision, the other one that isn't in the favor of that decision wants to call you biased. And I'm talking about, I've caught hell every single day since these two boys have been born, and they will never understand what life has been like. Nina says he's 40 now, and it's been an adventure, I'm sure. Mine told me that he wanted to live with me till the day I died. And I was like, that ain't going to happen. You won't ever stay with me till the day you die. And I told him, I said, me and Deuce have plans. Our plans are to enjoy our life when you guys graduate from high school. We are going to get an RV and we are going to disappear. and only the chat's going to know where we are. I mean, we are literally going to be gone. I am ready for me time. For my entire life, almost, I have been about my children. It is time for me to celebrate my life and the changes that have come to it and the blessings that God has given me that I can't enjoy right now. But I can tell you one thing, Uncle Deuce is the backbone that I needed to get through this. I needed him and his presence in my life because he's strong, he's a man, he's resilient to a lot of stuff that I'm not resilient to. So I can honestly say that yes, I need him both physically, mentally, spiritually, every which way that I could possibly need him. I need him to be there. And God gave me the man that I needed to help me get through this. Exactly. I don't know how many times I said that in the last 14 years. I love you because I gave birth to you. But on an average day, I don't like your ass. And they look at it like it's being mean, but the bad thing is and the sad thing is it's the truth. What do you do with two special needs kids who are brothers but act like enemies? What do you do when you've got a family member in your family that sabotages the like the quiet, the normal, the everyday of your life and just wrecks it? And what do you do when you are never normal? When you feel like that if you could just have one normal day, it would be awesome. Look at here who's turning. I think he's making them right. But we live very, very close to the PD. And cars, police cars is something we see a lot of. And then my son's like, you don't want to be around me. You don't want me around you. No, because when you come out here, drama starts as soon as you come out the door. And at the ripe age of 14, you should know that by now. And you should have enough respect to yourself not to want to wreck everything your mother's trying to do. I can't have a live stream at my house with my kids here without them doing something to interrupt it. Whether it's come out the front door 14 times, whether it's come up to the same door and stand there and beat on it because I'm not acknowledging you. Whether it's slamming doors because you're told to get back in the house and keep the door shut. They don't want to ask Deuce because Deuce will probably say no. They'd rather come out here and interrupt everything I'm doing than to just wait. Nina says, as a teenager, he got into drugs and alcohol real bad, which made matters worse. And it will. But which is worse, alcohol and drugs or a self-destructive kid? Without the alcohol and drugs. So, yeah, I think the system, the CPS system, which are nothing but very highly paid child traffickers, and they're doing it legally, and they're wrecking homes. Kids are disappearing. They're putting them in foster care homes, group homes where there's abusers and pedophiles and other screwed up kids that don't want to do nothing but break the law, and they use your child as a guinea pig. Kathy says, sorry, not sorry. I feel just because they turn 18, they are out. Mine can live here as long as they won't. No, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. At 18, I have done my job. I have raised you. And because of everything I have been through, I have dealt with it as long as I'm going to deal with it. It is time for you to stand up and be a man. The alcohol and drugs made him 100 times worse. Well, the medication that the state insists on giving kids with ADHD and bipolar took his rage and made it 100 times worse. So I don't give a damn what anybody says. But when I pulled my children off of that medication, I started seeing a change in my kids. Now, is it all roses and flowers? No, it's not. But I can tell you this: taking my oldest one off of the medicines they had him on made at least 80% difference in his behavior here at the house. I was in hell until I did that. And then when I made that decision, that was it. I have never looked back. The last CPS worker that came to me told me that I could always put my boys in MHMR, and I looked at her and shook my head and I said, I will never do it again. MHMR is mental health and mental retardation here in Texas. I won't ever do it again. I looked at the worker. I said, the first thing they're going to want to do is put them in therapy and put them on meds. I'm not going to allow my kids to be on meds. So therefore, there's no point in me going. There is no way. There is a time. We're living in a different time. We have a different mannerism. And the best thing I can do for my son is to show him tough love. It is time for him to grow up. It is time to him to realize that the things that I have spent my whole life trying to teach him is exactly that. It's stuff that he should have learned. It is not my job after you were 18 to take care of you. It is your job to learn to take care of yourself. And after the lifetime I've had with my kids, I will gladly do that to teach him what he needs to learn. Because life can teach him a lot quicker than anything I can say or do. Absolutely, Nina. Absolutely. I will be honest with you. It is the only thing for me personally that kept my sanity. Because there were times when I wanted to just walk out the front door, leave everything that I had behind, and just never come back. I wanted to just walk away and never come back. And my son was so moody that, yes, I blew it right in his face sometimes, just so it would calm him down. And I would trust that with him way more than I would trust putting him back on big pharma medication. What a lot of people don't realize is Deuce and I are non-pharmaceutical people. We don't run to the doctor every time we turn around. Deuce had to take antibiotics recently because of an infection. But other than that, if it's not an antibiotic and it's not something that you have to heal, we're not studying all that medication. We're not studying. I have a bad knee that needs that. I have a bad knee that I got rheumatoid arthritis in that I need to have a complete knee replacement on. But because I've always been a single mom with these two kids, especially when they wanted to do the surgery, they were little. And I was like, there's no way, because I had no support system. It was just me. Just me. 10-4, Nina. Me and you both. So with that being said, when you've got a kid that's like that, and you got children like that, and you have things in your personal health that you need to deal with, but you can't do it because everything else is standing in the way, and you got to make sure that you can get up and that you can function as a parent. But if you take your knee out, that's your mobility right there. So there was just stuff that I had to put off about myself because of my kids and the fact that I was a parent. And so no, I will never judge you. I will never call you a bad mother. A mother does what they have to do their job every day. And sometimes you have to go to extreme things, or what some would consider extreme. But I look at it to you this way. I am one of you. I will be till the day I die. Nina, I have very good kids. I have family with special needs. I can never see them doing what's being talked about. Well, what do you mean, Kathy? Do you mean the kids themselves doing things that I'm telling you? Or do you mean me treating my kids at 18 the way I'm going to treat them? Yeah, we do. And that might be something we have to look into because, number one, my dad is a state away from you. And number two, you're in Florida, right, Nina? So I mean, it's like I said, if you have normal children, then yes, the things that I'm saying to you is preposterous. But until you've walked a mile in my shoes as an individual, until you have walked a mile in my moccasins or been in my life for a day, then no one has a right to say anything that's right. Nobody has a right to say anything about me as a parent or my choices until you have lived a little bit in my life. They're not adults at the age they are now, but my kids are so strong in their personality that they think that they know so much better than me, and it's going to get worse as they get older. So I'm like this. And I have prepped my kids for the last 5 years. So this is not like something that's going to sneak up on them and it's going to surprise them. No. This is something I've told my kids for the past 5 years or more. When you reach 18 or you graduate from high school, whichever one comes first, be prepared to have your life in order because you are going to have to stand on your own. Because at 18, I have fulfilled my duty to you as a mom. Now, I'm going to be your mother till the day I die, and I will love you till the day I die. Does that mean you're going to live with me all of your life? No, it does not. Good morning, Carrie. It's no. I have drawn that line, and it's going to be instituted, and it's going to be held strong. So I'm just saying, if you are ever put in a position where you have got to deal with special needs kids with a very, very prominent disorder, then it's like living in hell itself. No day is a peaceful day. I've spent more time crying all day long out of frustration than I care to count. So there's never going to come a day when I'm going to deviate away from my plan. My plan is real simple. I'm going to prepare you for what is to come to the best of my ability. If you at the age of 18 still don't get it, then it becomes your lesson, not mine. Will I intentionally leave my kids in a harmful situation? Only if they make that choice. Nina says, I thought the parents of ADD kids were bad parents until I had to raise one. Until you have one, you have no idea. You are absolutely correct. And then you got ADD as opposed to ADHD, which I have one of each. And then you got bipolar on top of the ADHD. And living with a child with bipolar at such a young age is like dealing with a Jekyll and Hyde every single day. I mean, there were days when, hold on just a second, y'all. There were days when my oldest one targeted my youngest one directly. Like, his goal, move y'all around just a little bit so I can see the cat. His goal was to get rid of his brother, hands down. And I was dealing with attacks. I was dealing with him picking up a metal dump truck and clocking his brother over the head with it. I was dealing with him pushing him in a pool and trying to let him drown. I was dealing with him walking around sleeping with butcher knives under his bed, under his pillow. Yes, that's the kind of disturbing behavior that my child had at an early age, that I had to live in fear of having my other child hurt by this child. So, like I said, unless anyone has walked a mile in my shoes, don't just assume I'm being harsh because at 18, I'm done. No, at 18, I'm getting my freedom. And it's time for him to learn to live his life to the best of his ability. And in these years that he's with me, I'm trying my best to teach him what he needs to know. But when you've got a child that doesn't receive that, hence comes the problem. What do you want, Chris? What is so damn important? No, you're not coming outside. It is. There have been days when I didn't realize or figure or even know how I was going to go on. Not being able to work, we stayed poor. And there was days that I struggled. CPS came after me because of financial reasons. But when you got a child that when he can't go to school, he can't go to daycare, he can't go to YMCA, there is no daddy, there is no grandparents, there is nothing that you can hold on to reach out and get help for the kids. There's nobody that understands. Everybody that deals with you judges you. Nobody can walk a mile in your shoes because they couldn't handle it. I'm just saying it's a very lonely existence. And for the first time ever, I've got back up. So, my thing is no, kids don't come with an instruction booklet. I read a story here, and I mentioned this in another chat, probably 2 or 3 of them. I read a story in another, I heard the story or read it or saw it in a short or something about the state and the way they were viewing a mother who dropped her child off at a homeless shelter at 18. Well, I wonder if that child had issues. And I wonder what that child put the mother through. Because of me and my experience, I'm not the one that's going to look at the mother and go, what did she do wrong? Or what screws loose in her head? Instead, I would look at the dynamics of the family and go, okay, what led her to this point? Because mothers, not all mothers, but I would say at least 90% of the people who give birth to their children love their kids. And they want to do what's best for them. It takes a special woman to walk away from a child at any age. So I couldn't imagine giving up on your kids, although I can understand being put in a position where you want to give up. That's where I was at. That's why when I met Convoy Santa and I started going into his chats, I've told a couple people, I think Carol is one of them, and just people that I'm really close to outside of the chat. I've told people, I said, look, if people understood the mindset and the place that I was at when I started following Santa and got involved in the freedom movement, this is way before Deuce. I mean, me and Deuce got acquainted in those days, but it wasn't like, we wasn't like close. So what it all comes down to is when I was put in that position to where I actually ended up in Convoy Santa's chat because of TPC, it was then that he began to speak to me through my heart, and God used him to do so because I was in such a dark place at the time that I was considering 2 options. I was considering getting in my car and driving myself off in a lake where nobody would ever see me again, or I was considering just getting in my car and walking away from my life and never coming back. Nina says he was suspended from elementary school for fighting, put a boy in the hospital in junior high, painted the town with red spray paint, destroyed neighbors' things, set a fire, and on and on. And Christopher has started 2 house fires, one of which I lost everything I owned. Nina says, I didn't raise him to act that way. The other 5 kids were good kids. Sometimes you just have one that doesn't. Sometimes you have one that doesn't fit any mold, that doesn't fit any criteria as what a normal child should be. And you wonder where their mind is at. You wonder if I even questioned the fact that my kid could have been possessed at a very young age because he had such dark thinking, and I could not get him away from it. And it's like, I believe to this day that the dark powers that be are still after him. I believe that they are after him, that they shadow him, and that somehow or another through all of this, and even through prayer myself, and Deuce prays for me and the kids constantly, and I believe that through prayer maybe it's getting better slowly, and maybe he'll outgrow it. Maybe one day he'll outgrow it. But right now, I just don't know if he's ever going to. But I can tell you that his rage, there's a difference of night and day between the 2 scenarios. I do believe that the medicine they put him on was making it worse. I really do. Hands down, as soon as I de-seed it, I started seeing the fog on my child lift. So if you've got your children on a lot of medicines, rethink it, especially if you're having a lot of problems with them still on medicine. Rethink your situation, because the medicine, I'm going to tell you, Big Pharma, if Big Pharma was all it was cracked up to be, and their medicines did, and their procedures and their surgeries and everything did the job it was supposed to do, then you would literally go in for treatment, come out, and you would not have to go back. But the crap that they're doing to your body, although it seems like it's preventative, and some of it can be, but it's also destructive, and it does its own damage. The medication is not curing you, it's keeping you alive. As long as they keep you in the state that you're in, they can continue to make money from you. But let's look at it this way. Let's say back in 1960, they had a cure for cancer. And because Big Pharma wanted to lose so much, didn't want to lose the money of all the cancer treatments that they have, they took that and they silenced it, and they stopped it from coming out, because they would have lost way, way, way too much money had it become common knowledge. When you've got a society that swears a Hippocratic oath to first do no harm, and then you're going to silence a cure for cancer, how is that not doing humanity harm? How is it? Okay, Nina says, if you read Driven to Distraction, you will understand him. The book explains the rage. Well, the rage can be fed and made worse by far. And the medications just make Chris worse. So I'm looking forward to the days of me being a grandmother. I'm actually looking forward to being a grandma. One, I want to know what it feels like to be a grandmother and be able to be with my grandkids and then send them home. And I still pray that Chris gets a dose of his good medicine, or his own medicine, that he gets a child at least 10 times as worse than he was, because I want him to understand what exactly I went through, and I don't think he will until he has his own kids. So the greatest lessons that Chris can learn at this point is things that I can't teach him. I've been trying to teach it to him for years. It's just not working. It's just not sticking. Some kids, you just have to let them live their own life and let them make their mistakes. And with Chris, that's what I'm going to do. I'll be there to support him all I can when the pieces fall because I love him. But am I going to go in there and fix everything for him? No. It is, again, it's time. When he turns 17, 18, and he's through with school, it's time for him to learn his own lessons and live his own life. The medication didn't work for him either, but the book gives you tips. Thank God my son didn't have kids. You know what? I hope he does. I hope he does. Because one thing, the only way I would raise my grandchildren is if the state was about to take them. But it would never be my goal is to raise my grandkids. I don't want to do it. My boys need to be men, and I'm going to make sure that if we ever slip up and have a baby before they're 18, that they're going to step up and do what they're supposed to do. I'm not fixed to play this game with my kids. And if you're older than 18 and you have your baby, I'm not going to let the baby be in harm's way. I would never leave it in a situation where it wasn't being cared for. But it would take that extreme for me to have my grandkids. When I met Chris and Aiden's dad, he was on medicine. I had no idea he had the disorders that he has, but the bipolar that Chris has came from his dad. And the first time that I started seeing him become unstable was actually when he stopped taking his medication and he was on 1,000 milligrams of lithium a day. And I didn't understand that much about lithium. I knew that it was just kind of one of them old school drugs that you didn't hear about very much anymore. But I didn't know much about it because I'd never been around anybody that was on lithium or had to take it. And I've never had any like major malfunctions mental health wise in my family. So we just had issues. I mean, I was totally unprepared for the whole scenario. You know, it was just a situation where you were just like, what in the hell is wrong with you? And what's changed? Well, come to find out, he'd stopped taking his meds. And to substitute the medication, because it kept him level, and he really didn't want to be level. He wanted to be able to have an excuse to show his royal rust of whenever he wanted to, and to act stupid and to hit on me. And he pushed me down 17 stairs when I was 6 months pregnant with Aiden. And I'm just shocked that I didn't lose Aiden then. But I put him in prison, and he was a violent man. I put him in prison because he put his entire handprint in a bright purple bruise on Aiden's face, which is also his son, at the age of 3.5 months because he woke up crying. So, yeah, that's what it all boils down to. Yeah, I'm going to check on the kids real quick and run to the bathroom. Y'all everybody hold steady. All right, chat. I'm still here. Y'all hang on. Yep. If you're still here, just hang on a second. I'll be right back. I got to get me another cup of coffee. And it looks like whoever's here, if someone new comes in, just let them know I had to step to go get some coffee. I'll be right back. All right, I'm so sorry. I had an altercation with my kids. All right. So, Nina says, oh my God, lithium is horrible. I know 2 people on lithium for bipolar, killed family members when they stopped taking lithium, cold turkey. Be careful with that drug. You know what? I've never dealt with it. I've never dealt with the lithium, and I'll tell you why. The only thing I've been around is someone on it. And I didn't realize how acute would be a good word. I didn't realize how acute it could be for them. But yeah, and the instability of not wanting to take it, and I can understand why, because it takes a very violent personality and turns it into the tooth fairy, and they don't like that shit, because a lot of the people that's like that, like Chris and Aiden's dad, he was very, very violent, and he would do shit just because he would just. And I mean, the day he pushed me down the stairs, I hadn't done or said nothing to him. He just wanted to be a bitch. And then I turned around and I looked at him. I said, you know, I could have lost this baby laying on the floor in a heap. I could have lost this baby. Well, we don't need another kid anyway. When you got someone who thinks like that, and then he vocalizes that with you, what in the hell do you think you're living with? You're with a damn monster. And from that point on, I began to try to figure out a way to get out of the situation. And that's why I say, yeah, it was bad what happened to Aiden, but at the same time, it got us away from him. I had called the police on him so many times, he'd look at the cops and tell them he did what I accused him of doing. And because we were, I guess, common law married or whatever, it's okay for him to beat up on me, and it's not against the law, even if he told them, yes, I did it. So I don't know. It's different. Like I said, you would literally have had to walk a mile in my shoes to understand why I've made the decision that I've made. Because the first time I mentioned it, my dad looked at me like, "You're not going to do that." Putting the kids out at 18, I was like, "You are sadly mistaken." But after he lived with them for a year, he began to understand a little bit. Kathy, I guess you had to leave. I get it. I had to step away and get some more coffee anyway. And so tell me something. There's 4 people in here. Who's still here? I just need to know who's here. And Nina, if you're the only one who messages me, then we've got 3 trolls. Because what I had was Carrie. I'm figuring it's Nina, Carrie. Let's see. Nina and Carrie. Uncle Deuce might be listening, so he might be one of them. Yeah. And the other one's Kathy. So I don't know who's here and who's not, or maybe we got a lurker. Carrie's musing says, I am here. Nina says, damn, you had a rough time. So sorry you had to go through all that. And I did it as a single mother. I did it with CPS down my throat trying to take my kids every day. But when it all come down to it, I was the only one fighting for my children. I was the one fighting. The system took them in 2016 in July, right after school ended, because I had lost my home. And then they kept them for 9 months. Them kids had never been abused. They brought them back raped and physical and mental violence. Like they were exposed to physical and mental abuse every day and sexual abuse. 11-year-olds took the innocence of my kids. So, I mean, yeah, I've been through a lot of hell and I've been judged and I get judged and rejudged. And I've had relationships that have come along that I thought might work, but the men wasn't strong enough to deal with the kids. And 9 times out of 10, they left because of it. That was my biggest fear with getting with Deuce. Because for the first time it mattered that a man was or wasn't there. And I really wanted it to work, but I was so scared to try it because I was scared he would be like everybody else. But to be honest with you, Uncle Deuce is nothing like anyone else. That's for sure. Wait a minute. I see something about gallbladder. Oh, you're going to the doctor in a few minutes. Okay. That heart's in the way. I can't read everything. But yeah, it's been 14 years rough. 14 years rough. And there was a lot of times that I just wanted to give up. There was a lot of times that I wanted to let CPS take them. There was a lot of times that I wanted to just drop them off on their dad's front porch and say, here, you deal with this. I can't do it. There was many, many days I was angry at him because he does nothing. I will never, ever, ever put myself in this situation again, ever. When I get my 2 kids grown, I will never come back. I will never go back. There is no way I will ever go back. See, that kind of shit right there, Nina, is not right. That's the kind of judgment I'm talking about. When people look at others because they think that they don't control their kids, but what they don't understand is their kid is uncontrollable. What little bit they're in control is because of that parent giving 100% of everything she has. And then having to pull another 100% out of her ass somewhere when she hadn't got it. So I don't want to hear that shit. It's a battle. You're always having to choose between paying your electric bill and feeding your kids. You never have anything because nobody will stand with you. I was a single child, one child to my dad. There is no brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and all this that I can pick up the phone and go, can somebody please just help me for one day and let me get away? There was no break. There was no nothing. For the first time in 14 years, I am able to go to the grocery store without my children because I have Deuce here with them. Or I'm able to go and do something with his mother all day and leave the kids here with Deuce. Or whatever it takes. Or load them up and take them swimming. You know, I give and give and give and give for my kids. And there's nobody that can say otherwise that knows me. But the bad thing is for the outside looking in, there's always some asshole there waiting just to stir up shit because they can. That's so sad, Nina. I've been there. That's why I have the personality I do. That's why I'm outspoken like I do, because I will flat call you the hell out and I don't care who you are. I sure will. It's when you've got a kid that's mentally ill, they don't think like normal people. They don't see the world the way you do. And the problem that you have in that whole scenario is that you also can't comprehend what they see because you don't see it. So it's like two blind people trying to get through the world. I did too. And I thought for a long time I lived in fear of he hurting his brother. And that was when I left my dad's house, he was like, I'm really afraid that Christopher's going to hurt Aiden before it's all said and done. And this has been within 3 years. So I will say this. I understand that statement, and I too have lived it. And I too have that people don't understand when you've got kids like that, that's got that kind of anger, your job never stops. You cannot leave them for 2 seconds. Every traditional mode of getting a break from your kids don't work for kids like that. They're unwelcome in places. They wear out their welcome. They get thrown out. They get in trouble. They get whatever it takes. They can't function in normal society. Because I know there's people that may be sitting in chat going, why didn't you put them in YMCA? Tried it 4 times. Chris got kicked out every time. Why didn't you put them in daycare? Tried that too. He got kicked out of there. I tried private sitters. Private sitters couldn't hang and wouldn't hang. They quit. So when I tell you that I've been there, done that, tried everything I could try, and the best thing in the world that I did for him was to make him as normal as possible, to try to give him as normal a surrounding and a life as possible. And he may not appreciate Deuce now, but there's going to come a day when he does. And then he's going to be thankful for what Deuce give him. And again, it may not be till he also appreciates me for what I sacrificed for him. But yeah, to all those people that want to peg people like me as a bad parent based on what I just told you, I'm the parent that never quit. I am the parent that never stopped. I am the parent that would get in the corner of my room or go to my room or to the bathroom and lock myself up in there and sit there and cry if I had to make it and to keep going one extra day. But we're the bad parents. We're the parents that never stop because we can't. Our kids require more than what most people will ever know and give. Yes, we are the parents that never stop. If you're out on the street and you see something that is questionable to you as like child abuse or you being mean to a kid, please take the time to find out what's going on before you just jump the gun. Because my son was running from Deuce in front of our yard and somebody called the CPS on me like it was abusive. He was trying to get away. If you cannot see and know what is going on in a person's life and what is leading them where they're at, please don't be so quick to call CPS and the law and stuff like that on them. Because again, there is times when abuse is being done, but not every time you see a child acting retardedly ignorant in public is it the parent's fault. Nina said, I sent him to juvenile boot camp for something months when he was 15. He was fine until he got home. My child thinks that he ain't got to respect anyone, let alone me. Teachers, it don't matter who it is. He thinks he can talk to people any way he wants. What he don't realize is when he starts working and he gets his first boss and he goes off cotton at them, bye-bye job, bye-bye dreams. If you got a car, it's going to get repossessed because you lost your job because you can't control your mouth. Deuce and I considered not juvenile boot camp, but literally military boot camp. Seriously. That's what we're doing or thinking about doing. Nina, if you don't already have my contact information for a phone call, if you will email me at thefreedommisfits@gmail.com, I will send you my number and we will talk to you about your idea for anniversary. I'll get on the phone with you and we'll have a person-to-person conversation and we'll see what's going on. I know that we could do like, we'll talk. I got ideas. Yeah. The plane tickets I can handle. If I book them in advance and get somebody to pick us up in Baltimore, it's cheaper than coming into DC. We got 6 in here now. If you're in here, send me a thumbs up so I know you're here. I know Nina's here because she's always here. Thank you, Nina. Carrie, are you still with me or have you already had to go to the doctor? Kathy, I think, left. And I think y'all are pretty much all I've had this morning, which is fine with me too. So who's here that I haven't spoke to? Nina's here. Gotcha. Carrie's here. Gotcha. 2. Carrie and Nina, y'all hit that like button for me. It sounds like I've got, yeah, but it's way more expensive. Nina, it's going to be way more expensive to come into the DC area. Let me do some research on it. Let me figure out the difference of coming into Baltimore as opposed to coming into Hagerstown. I know Hagerstown is a good ways from DC, so maybe it won't be too expensive, but as close as it is to DC, I just don't know. But if we're going to do that, then we definitely got to get some stuff together because there is no way in hell that I would get Deuce that close to Glory Be and not arrange something. So maybe we can do like an anniversary party while we're there. And of course, we'll be live, but maybe we could do like an anniversary party while we're there. And we can invite anybody that's close by. Like Glory Be could be there, Third of Its Kind could be there, and a couple more. So, what do you think of that, Nina? All right. So, do they have a like a major airport or just a small like community airport? I mean, Baltimore and DC are major airports. Can I take a regular flight into Hagerstown? Just out of curiosity, Nina, and you may not know, so if you don't know, just say you don't know. Do you know approximately how far Camp Freedom is from Hagerstown? That weekend, we're not going to have the kids with us. I can tell you that now. Yeah, but Trump's got clearance. I don't. He can land his plane there just because it's Trump. I'm just saying. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll check and see. Now, do you know how far Camp Freedom is from where you're at? Just approximately. I don't need a location. I know nobody really knows the location. I just need to know if it's close by, like an hour at least to 2 hours. Because while I'm there, I would love to visit Camp Freedom. Get a charter hitch hike. What? Hold on. Get a charter hitchhike flight. No, I don't mind. I mean, I'm just about it being the cheapest way out. And I don't know, Nina. We'll probably do like a 3 or 4 day weekend. Um. Okay. Cool. Oh, that's cool. Now, do you have any contacts there? Do you know how to get in touch with Dustin or Q or anybody else that's up there? And the reason I ask is because I definitely want to go, and I know that they have to meet you at a designated place, and then they pull you in. So, do you have a way to reach someone there? No, sir. Shut that door. Don't interrupt my lives. Okay. All right. Let me just check into it then, because I believe we could pull it off. I will have to be really, really, really sneaky doing it. because I'm going to have to, I think I'll just pay my neighbors to watch the kids instead of sticking them here and sticking them there. Leave them with people who already know what they're capable of and pay them just to oversee them. I can. I mean, yeah, I got to find. Well, Dustin goes live all the time. Plus, I have him on Messenger. I could always text Dustin, if it really comes down to it, which I'm really interested in that idea because it would give the Ducey the ability to meet Glory B in third, which is a big deal. Also, Camp Freedom's a big deal for me and him. And so, yeah, I think this is something we can most definitely do. Send me an email, or you can find me on Facebook. If you find me on Facebook, it's going to be under Laverne Brewster, Lavern Brewster, Brewster. Let me see if I can spell it out for you on here. If you can, oh, poor baby. If you can find me on Facebook, send me a PM and we can link up right there. So you guys, so we had two people. Okay, then you're going to have to email me. Email me at the address on the Double Deuces page, and I'll send you my phone number. Let's see. Oh, that's all jacked up. Hold on a minute, y'all. There we go. Stop it. That's my email address. It is specifically for Double Deuces, so that's where all email concerning this channel goes to. Yep, I've almost been live 2 hours, and Nina, you don't know, you and Kathy and Carrie, I appreciate y'all. I don't know who else is live that's conflicting, but somebody is. I've had some instances too where some of my people are dropping off because they're not happy with the way I'm handling this or that. And it's just come through the lines that way. I hope I don't lose too many more, but the ones that stay with me through all the hard stuff are the ones that's going to be here. So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. Just touch base with me. I need a phone number where I can at least text you. And we'll talk more about it. It would give me an opportunity to go back and I could see the people at Camp Freedom that I hadn't seen in a while. And I can also see Trooper, which I haven't seen in forever. Yes, it would be worth it because we could attend the vigil one night where Deuce can meet Mickey. Hell yeah. This sounds like a good idea. What do you mean, do it my way, Carrie? Well, I think it would be fun as hell. It just sounds like a lot of fun. And Nina's willing to let me and Deuce stay on site. That would save us a lot of money. And it would give us time to get to know her in general. Now, Nina, if we fly, you know we're not going to have a car, right? Nina says, I am so excited. I've been wanting to go to Camp Freedom, but didn't want to go by myself. Well, this will work. This will work. Yeah. Hey, Miss Branch Crew, good morning. I'm not really sure about the kids. I'm going to tell you what, there's, like I said, they don't come with an instruction manual. There's been times when I've been right. There's been times when I've been wrong. There's been times when we've both kind of been in a gray area. They have a strong mama. I can say that. And life has made me very, very strong. Um, I'm very, very independent, very opinionated. I stand up for myself. Nobody has to do it for me. Um, Physically, I've never really had to worry about trying to defend myself against anyone because my stupid ex partner that was the boys' father, he was sneaky. He wanted to sneak up behind you and do it. So you were completely unaware of what was coming. Um, he didn't want to look you in the face when he done his dirt. So I've never really had to have that kind of altercation with anyone, but um, one day the boys are going to realize how strong I actually am. It's all trial and error. That's that's with being a parent in general. Being a parent, being any parent, it doesn't matter whether your kids are easy or hard or Jeffrey Dahmer types. It don't matter. It's all trial and error. If anybody can do anything for my kids, it's going to be me. And if I can't do it, then nobody else is going to be able to either. So I look at it this way. These last 4 and 5 years, it's my job to try to get as much information and everything that I can put into their little brains so that they learn and understand where I'm coming from. They may not do any of this until they reach their 30s or 40s and start having kids of their own, whichever one happens first. Holy shit, you scared the hell out of me. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing good. My name's Charlie. I'm a storm roofing and construction. I just got done doing an inspection on one of your neighbors right down the street, and I found some pretty good sized damage from the storms last night. Says courtesy, I thought I'd stop by and say hi, see if I can hop up there for you real quick.
What about help? Do you need any help or is it just you?
Oh, no, man. It's just me and my wife. She's out there in the truck.
She ain't supposed to be doing no roofing.
Oh, no, man. She's not. She's going to wait for me on the ground.
That's what she needs to do.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll pass it along. My old man's he's into construction too, but and
Okay.
has roofing experience.
Okay.
But it's never been his little thing. I
Yeah.
don't think. I was just curious as to whether you needed help or whatever.
I know, man. It's
We
free.
just
I
had
can
this
hop up
one-
there and look at it.
This
I mean,
one's just been redone. I
Has
mean,
it
within
really?
the last 4 months.
They were talking about grapefruits out dropped out here last night.
Oh, it did.
It dropped right here.
Hold on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a video of it. Dudes. Get him for me. Christopher, please get Deuce. Because I said so. And shut the door back before Zena. Tell him I need him to come now. Shut the door because of the dog. How about we don't let the dog out?
How's it going, man?
We're good. I just had a roof put on last month.
You mind if I just hop up there and take a look at it for you? It's a free inspection, man.
It's all good, man. I appreciate it. It'll be
Okay.
fine.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Y'all got my card.
Which reminds me, I need to go out and look at the cars. You check them?
I have not checked them, but say hi to the live stream. Hi, live stream. Y'all see that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the live. Y'all have a safe day. I love y'all.